And we are back in familiar territory, the Clark Athletic Center, for a crucial conference matchup. Your women's basketball team, 8-7, 1-4 on the season in the LEC, but on a bit of an upswing. About ready for conference basketball tonight. My name is Chris Del Sordo, calling the action for you on the Beacon Broadcasting Network, brought to you by LEC.TV, and I am joined alongside former Beacon basketball player Steve McGuire. Steve making his maiden voyage with us tonight. And Steve, welcome aboard. I hope we have a good one for you this afternoon.
It is a pleasure to be here. Always love being back in Beaconville to watch some basketball.
Well, so here's what we have in front of you today as we'll pull up the side-by-side statistics. An offensive force in the form of the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs, 8-6 on the season, winners of 5 of their last 6, and you'll see 71.5 points per game. That leads the entire LEC. The Beacons are going to have their work cut out for them. As you can see across the other side of the aisle there, the Beacons just around the 60-point mark per game, and that's right where they like it. They like to keep it a little grimy, get you into the mud, if you will. The Beacons holding firm, Steve, as you see right here, only 53 points allowed on the defensive end so far this season.
Yeah, you know, with a team like this, it's just really important. They're going to let you score some points. If you can slow down their offense bit by bit, you're going to have a really good chance to put up some big numbers tonight.
Shooting has been streaky for the Beacons, as you see right now, leveling out to 36.6% in the field goal department. I think as a basketball player, anybody would like to see that number up a little bit higher, but when you're on the plus side of 500, kind of something you can live with in this regard.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, shooting plays a big role in this game these days. You want to have a good night shooting. It's going to really open up the floor for you.
UMass Dartmouth has attempted 342 threes on. They're hitting of them. If you're putting them up in that volume, that looks to be a winning formula right now for the Corsairs, even at 30%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, percentages can be confusing. If you're putting up a lot of shots, which they do, obviously they score a lot of points per game, so they're obviously taking a lot of attempts. Percentages can kind of skew the numbers a bit.
And then as you'll see, the very last number we'll touch on real quick, that bottom column there, both coaches would like to see some improvement there. 19 turnovers a game right on the plus or minus side for both teams, so no one really with an advantage, and there's no advantage to be had turning the ball over 19 times per game. I'll just say this, surprising that UMass Dartmouth, 4 conference wins. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. They've won their last 4 games in conference, similar to the Beacons, who lost their first 4 and have won their most recent one. The Corsairs have realized some more success slowing down that high-paced offense and kind of letting the game come to them. That's not what you want to hear if you're Coach Jacobs, for this Beacons team, who once, as we said, likes to slow it down and likes to keep the ball closer to the basket.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you tend to slow things down, you tend to stop rushing. There's a difference between playing fast and playing too quick. And maybe Dartmouth has figured that out over the past couple of games, which can be dangerous.
So we are at a real big turning point for the season for both of these teams. Can the Corsairs keep their hot run through the LEC going? Can the Beacons keep the ship upright and get another win on top of their 500 record and move to 2-4 in the LEC? Most recent contest, a close game against Eastern Nazarene College with some unfamiliar faces showing out and making their presence felt. We have the highlights for you. Take a look.
New Year's Eve basketball in Beaconville, women's basketball taking on Eastern Nazarene College to close out the 2022 calendar year. And it would be a good one at the start. Early on, the Beacons trailing 7-0. Tatiana Fevry, who had a career game with 10 points and 6 boards, lays it up and home there as the Beacons cut into that 7-0 deficit down to 7-2. And then to end off the first quarter, Sabela Jensen with a layup after the steal, and then Fevry with a layup of her own. Beacons head into the second quarter, tied up at 11-all, and the second quarter would be a big one for the Beacons. How many points can Alexa Potter score for this Beacons squad in the second? There you see she's already got 4, and then another layup there makes it 6. The Beacons in control by 12 now. Potter getting the pass right there, makes it 8, and now she's going to have 10 on this pass from Fevry. Later on, it's going to be 12 in the post down low. The mismatch gets it to fall. The Beacons just pulling away in this one. 14 points right here on another layup. And then Potter's actually going to close out the second quarter on this rebound and layup. 16 points for Alexa Potter in the second quarter alone. The Beacons head into halftime, leading by 22 after a 28-6 second quarter. And then in the third, Meg Dixon scores 8 points for the Beacons. Dixon had a big day, 23 points and 13 rebounds for her 4th double-double of the season in 31 minutes. You see this one right here on the jumper with just under 2 minutes to go in the third. And then at the buzzer, Sunny Green with the jumper. Beacons still in control heading into the fourth quarter of this one And then down the stretch, Paige Olivier with a pair of three-pointers helps extend the Beacon lead up to 30 points. Olivier from the left side right there makes that 6 points on the afternoon. And then Emily Garufi off the bench with a two-pointer, closing out the Beacons' day with a 70-38 victory at home. The Beacons getting back on track after falling to 6-6 on the year. They are now 7-6 heading into the 2023 calendar year. They kick off their Little East Conference slate of games in the new year on January 4th, a Wednesday night on the road against Castleton University at 5 o'clock p.m. Men's ice.
Quick sneak peek at the Beaks before we get started. Women's and men's ice hockey. 2 games coming up on Friday. The women at home versus Norwich. The men heading out to take on Norwich up in Vermont. And then a full day on Saturday the 14th. I will be here for the women's ice hockey game against NEC at 3. Men's basketball against Keene College. That basketball doubleheader against Keene College. Huge as the men's team for Keene State, ranked number 4 in the nation. Very quickly, let's pull up today's matchup to watch as the Beacons lining up in what could potentially be a shootout against the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs, hoping that Sunny Green brought her shooting boots today. 4.5 points per contest for the sophomore out from the Cape, shooting at 35%. That's a nice increase in what her numbers were. She ended the year at about 29% from the field last season and contributing big in the rebounding department with 4.5 boards per game. Jordan Moretti, the all-everything grad student, the player to watch for the Corsairs.
Yeah, she's terrifying. You know, points per game, 15 points per game is pretty dangerous in this league. Field goal percentage, 46.5%, means she's taking good shots, scoring quite often. Rebounds, she's shorter than most people on this team, but she's getting 5.7 per game. You're going to have to box her out, and you're going to have to stick her at three-point land. It's going to be a tough one.
And if Moretti doesn't beat you from the outside, a couple of other streaky shooters in terms of Kaylin Zaleski and Melanie DeMeo to watch out for as well. They're on the floor. It's quiet in here. They're about to have the national anthem, so we'll throw it to a quick break. When we come back, tip-off between your Beacons and the Corsairs.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a It's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court.
And we'll rejoin the action here high atop the Clark Athletic Center. Chris Del Sordo, Steve McGuire on the call on the LEC Network TV station and the Beacon Broadcasting Network. A couple look at some side-by-side individual leaders. We touched on it. Jordan Moretti running the gamut, it looks like, in offensive stat, leading for the University of Mass Dartmouth, but then also somehow finding a way to tip the charts in assists and rebounds as well. Tasia Andrews, percentage-wise, the best shooter on UMass Dartmouth. And then real quick, Meg Dixon, she does it all as well for the Beacons, but Alexa Potter, her first year with the Beacons in her junior year collegiately, enjoying quite a nice start to the season.
Yeah, I assume Alexa is as a junior coming in for your first time, shooting 50% at your first time at a Division III is fantastic work. If she's not scoring all the points, Meg's handling a lot of that, but 50% from the field is pretty fantastic stuff.
And another thing that was interesting for Alexa, coming in as a transfer student, played at Dean College, right down the road in Central Mass here. Came in as a six-man. Didn't know, I don't know if it was the team not knowing much about her. You knew that you had this talent here, and then she'd be coming in and in 14 minutes scoring 12 or 13 points an outing. So it's very nice to see this talented junior getting the look in the starting lineup. Yeah,
as a junior college transfer myself, I came here in my junior year. I had a really hard time adjusting to my junior year of college. So to be able to do this your first year in Division III like this at UMass Boston, it's not easy.
Kudos to you, Miss Potter. The Beacons working right to left on your computer screen in their home white uniforms. Easy win for Alexa Potter, and we're underway. Carrie Ann Farina, the team's starting point guard in her senior year out of Arlington, Mass, feels a bit of a zone double team to start this contest off. She wings it over to Sunny Gray, and around the perimeter we go on this Wednesday afternoon. Green double team, and she almost threw that one away. That was some relentless pressure from the Corsairs, tipped last by Zaleski, and so it stays with the Beacons side out. That pretty intense defensive start.
Yeah, really tough. Cross-court passes against that aggressive of a zone. You have to be really sure it's going to get there to the other side.
Well, let's see if they can dump it down low. Once again, Farina trapped right along that sideline, and it will be a foul. So a bit of a bailout situation in that regard is the guilty party, number 24, Jessica Carroll. That's her first and the team's first. Once again, the tough sledding right now is Farina. It's on her to kind of break that little press, and twice she's dribbled it into a double team, and now they go back to 20 on the shot clock, but 16 to shoot. Farina surveying the scene. Dixon puts her hand up, not quite open on that left block, so Farina 2 steps in, swings it over to Olivier. 8 on the shot clock. They go back to the top of the key. Green on the left wing. Down low to Potter, and she's fouled on the entry pass. That looked to be Coach Jacobs' goal on that one, and there's a technical right away from the UMass Dartmouth bench. So the personal foul, that's a crazy start to this contest. That personal foul against Caroline Wilson, her first, team second, and that looks to be the head coach, Matt Ducharme, getting teed up. That's the referees 37 seconds into this game, Steve, announcing their presence and setting the tone, if you will, for tonight.
Yeah, they're not ready to take any nonsense for the rest of this night. That pass inside of number 33 was really important. That's what's going to actually open up this offense. You know, it's a really expanded, aggressive zone, but if you can get it inside and collapse it a little bit, you have a better chance of getting some points.
72% on the year for Meg Dixon, and it's going to be a 2-shot technical, which means Coach Ducharme definitely is drawing the attention of this refereeing crew, and not the position you want to be in a crucial conference game 37 seconds in, knowing that there might be, albeit a dull target, but a target on your back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can detect that early. Can't afford to say anything else for the rest of the game, and you wanted to be vocal.
So now that tech, Steve, came after the foul down low, which means the Beacons get the ball underneath, and there are 3 team fouls against UMass Dartmouth 37 seconds into this first quarter. So 2 more fouls, and we'll be shooting free throws for quite a long time in period number 1. No better way to stack your hay, if you will, and get an early lead.
Absolutely, and the way they were playing so aggressively, it's going to make them reel back a little bit potentially.
Beacons only scored 55 points, and they only needed 36. They won 55-35 in their conference matchup against Plymouth State this past weekend. The first win after losing 4 in a row before that contest. So a fresh step right now for the Beacons. Dixon loves that shot from the white ring. It's a little bit short, hauled in on the play by Carroll, and now here comes Jordan Moretti pushing it ahead for the Corsairs. Back to Wilson, and that's a traveling violation against Caroline Wilson. She got to the hoop easily, and that's why. So 1 minute into this contest and 2 fairly big mental mistakes. Now, basketball's a game of runs. We are 1 minute in, 39 more to go. Does that stick with you at all? That rusty of a start, that slow, that choppy of a start? Are we thinking this might be timeout territory for the Corsairs?
Potentially. I mean, when it's moving at this pace.
Board hauled in by Potter. Sorry about that. And the nice light touch off the top of the board. Steve, that's what we talked about. Alexa Potter, you want her around the ball, around the hoop.
Yeah, she's going to be tough to block out in a zone defense like this. She's going to have a lot of opportunities to get boards and score.
Nice take there for Tasia Andrews, the second-year player out of Plymouth, Massachusetts. Third year, pardon me. Potter, clever pass attempt to Dixon. Meg not quite down there in time. It goes out off of her. Olivier giving chase as well. And, oh, you mentioned it, Steve. 19 turnovers per game for the Beacons, 19 turnovers per game for the Corsairs, one each way. That's a strong take. Shot left short. Potter hauls it in for her second rebound of the early going. And quickly, we'll go back the other way. We did say pacing-wise as Olivier lines up the left wing three in and out. Big board there for Potter, and she puts it on the deck and lays it back into for two. That's a little bit of a height mismatch, but that's low post skill on display right there from Alexa Potter.
Yeah, this zone is going to be really troublesome for this group. Potter's going to get a lot of rebounds today, I can tell.
Well, let's see how long they stick with that zone for as that was Caroline Wilson putting it on the deck, takes a step in and misses that one very far long. And so now Farina and the Beacons scoring 6 of this game's first 8 points. Olivier's momentum gets stopped in her tracks, but a great pass down low to the cutting Farina. What a great inside feed. Farina's shot goes long, and that, well, it was almost a travel. The ball instead stolen by Farina, up, and she lays it in through some contact around Kaylin Zaleski. That's what Carrie Ann Farina is on the floor to do, and looking like a veteran senior with that play.
Yeah, what a smart impromptu trap. Just decided to put it on him halfway through the court, and it scared the point guard. It was awesome.
I think if you would ask Coach Jacobs, that's the style of defense that, like, hey, I'll let you guys freestyle a little bit here, especially if it's in the name of keeping that intensity, keeping that pressure, the on-ball presence high.
Yeah, you love to see that.
Moretti misses the three-pointer just short there. That was a long three. She's a great outside shooter. That's her first attempt we've seen tonight, and she misses long. The Beacons enjoying a nice start here, up 8-2. Dixon, that's a tough play there to try and keep it inbounds, and great job by the grad student, Carolyn Wilson. Listed as a wing, she's been playing what looks to be in this zone more of a power forward, a true 4 down low. Held her ground there, no room for Dixon to get around the baseline. Let's see if the Corsairs have an answer here. They've scored in 1 of their first 5 possessions. Cut off there is Jessica Carroll, but a great inside-out move. Dixon recovers to alter that shot just enough, and the rebound goes to Sunny Green. Farina looks to her left. Olivier, inlet pass to Potter. Again, great crashing defense there from Tasia Andrews. The look was there, the finish was not. They wing it on over to Zaleski. She's a great shooter. That's a long 2, and it drops for Kaylin Zaleski, the junior out of Johnston, Rhode Island.
Have to pick somebody up in transition. Doesn't matter if you're guarding them or not. You got to find them and stop them from shooting. Transition threes are killer.
That's a big bucket there for UMass Dartmouth. Came out a little bit flat-footed, a little slow in their first couple of offensive possessions now. Potter once again on the cycle play around. She gets open down low. Quick double team. She's able to recover and get it back to Green. And now here's Dixon along the right wing. Great look down low. Potter was able to generate some space, and she lays it in for 2. And how about the patience right there? Neither Farina nor Dixon panicked, and they got it into Alexa Potter in a spot to score.
Usually a tough place to get an entry pass in from, but Meg was patient and got it in there. It was nice.
Andrews kicks it out to Wilson. Wow, a straightaway 3 with the 6-foot Alexa Potter closing out on her, and no problem for Caroline Wilson. Coming into the game, she is the team's 6th leading scorer. 6.6 points per contest. Good looking 3-point stroke there. Sunny Green trying to answer. The bench shot no good, but look at Alexa Potter, and a little too long on the putback. Wasn't in quite the best position to put it up and in. 4 rebounds in the early going for Potter. Great steal there for Green as the entry pass from Zaleski. I'm not quite sure if it was the decision or the aim on the pass, but as it is, that's the second steal in the first 5 minutes of this contest for Sunny Green.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers from UMass Dartmouth. You can tell it's part of the game. They play for it.
Way to go for Farina there to keep her wits about her. Dribble out of the trouble. The shot misses just short. Dixon can't corral the rebound. And now Zaleski quickly looking ahead to Moretti. Moretti, Euro step. What a finish. No. Wow, it looked like a great take there to get her into a scoring position, and the shot just a little too hard. You can see the talent that Jordan Moretti and just the true basketball skill that she brings to the hardwood for the Corsairs.
That was her first chance of the night, and it looked like a pretty spectacular move. Next one might fall.
There's Dixon once again. They're working it into her on the low left block. The left-handed shot no good. Pardon me, that was Potter with the miss. Dixon with the follow, and Meg Dixon, points number 3 and 4 on the night. They're the 2 leading scorers and 2 leading rebounders for the Beacons, and you love it when both forwards get involved on the same play. Meg Dixon, a grad student, 1,000-point scorer for the Beacons, adds 2 more to her career totals there. Beaks back up 5. Zaleski over to the left, and a lot of contact between Green and Moretti on that play, and Sunny Green will be the guilty party. That's her first and the team's first. For the Beacons, as we're 6 minutes into this contest, that's just the first team foul. UMass Dartmouth still sitting on 3. They collected all 3 of those in the first 37 seconds. It's a media timeout, so we'll take a quick break. Beacons leading by 5. 3:59 left to go in the first quarter. UMass Boston 12, UMass Dartmouth 7. More after this on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
And welcome back here inside the Clark Athletic Center. The Beacons leading by 5 in the early going. Tough defensive assignment now. We see Beeben Jakimi Pearson for the first time in today's contest. The true freshman out of London, England. What a good look down low. Olivier, I don't know if that was on her, but got lost in the transition play. And that's another bucket for Tasia Andrews, her second bucket in this early going. 9 points now for UMass Dartmouth, and Andrews with a chance at the and one. I was going to say both teams were shooting 37%, returning back into action here. Bump that up a little bit for UMass Dartmouth. And Steve, this game, projecting the numbers, it looks to favor the style of play that UMass Dartmouth enjoys, getting up and down, putting a lot of shots up to generate a lot of points and scoring opportunities. Now, you said you saw something in the offense, but before we get into that, what does that mean for UMass Boston with the pacing of the way this game is shaking out right now?
You're playing into the hand of the enemy, basically. It's something they like. You have to make them uncomfortable. And uncomfortable for UMass Dartmouth seems to be slow pace.
Wow, Meg Dixon, a great individual effort there to get the rebound up. The shot was blocked on the play by Zaleski, but Dixon back on it thanks to the Sunny Green rebound. Farina kicks it back out to Sunny. The Beacons will reset here with 12 on the shot clock. They'll look to Dixon with her back to the basket, tries to wing the pass into a cutting Green around the perimeter. BJP to Paige Olivier for 3, and she got it. That's some ball movement right there, and it's one of your senior players, Paige Olivier, the D2 transfer out of Barry University, knocking the shot down.
That's how you beat a zone, is ball movement. Zone can't keep up with the shift.
Great head fake there. Wow, what a phenomenal play by Tasia Andrews. She's got 6 points in the early going, and both of her made field goals very impressive in the process.
Yeah, Dartmouth really seems to likes to get punched and punch right back. That's kind of their style of play. They'll let you score, but they're going to get more than you.
Something to be said about that you have to feel the punch to be able to want to punch back. And right now it's working for UMass Dartmouth. They were just down by 7, now down by 3. 5 to shoot for the Beaks. Farina, that's a tough one. A lot of contact, no need for the whistle. And the rebound is hauled in by Jemima Joseph. But that one turned over at midcourt to Dixon. She looks back towards Olivier, and they'll wing it and reset. So this past minute and a half of basketball, a bit slower than the first 6 minutes. Jakimi Pearson hits the deck. Could see it on her face there. Maybe wanted the whistle. Instead, Zaleski ahead to Andrews, and that is points number 7 and 8 this evening for Tasia Andrews as UMass Dartmouth. Forget that slow start. They're right back into this contest down 1.
The player on this UMass Boston offense, the player opposite the ball, when it goes to this other side, needs to be more active. There's a lot of watching coming from this side of the court.
And that's very unfortunate in particular right now, is that lack of hustle from the left wing leads to a jump ball and a turnover for the Beacons. And so that's turnover number 3 in the opening moments here. Jalen Levine, the team's defensive stopper, technically the 6th man in terms of minutes played, only scoring about 2 points per contest, but known to be a big defensive pesterer and a big rebound getter in her junior season out of Litchfield, New Hampshire. She's on cutting baseline. They find her right away, and she gets the shot to fall. You know, Steve, sometimes it's that simple. We knew to look out for her coming in off the bench. They go right to her and still lays it in, and this is the first lead for the Corsairs, 8.5 minutes in.
And it's also really dangerous to let a role player come into the game and score immediately. Their confidence goes through the roof, and they might turn into something more than a role player for the rest of the game.
You like the look there from Meg Dixon. The shot didn't fall, and the referee on the backside of the play, he saw it. She was a bit out of control there. So it's an offensive foul against Dixon. It's her first, team's 3rd. Looks like Sabela Jensen, that's a true freshman out of Portland, Oregon, coming in at the top of the key, number 10, and Alexa Potter back in. So resetting the 5 right now for the Beaks. It's Jensen, Dixon, and Olivier up top, along with Jakimi Pearson, and then Alexa Potter right now at center, but right now on the high post. That pass tipped by Dixon. She couldn't corral the steal. Levine over to Moretti, deep in the right corner. Moretti in low to Joseph. Joseph backing down Potter, spinning, and she's blocked. Great play to stay at home there by Alexa Potter. And now with a minute left, the Beacons trying to regain the lead. Olivier leaving her open from the left wing. In and out. But a great board there from Jensen in the paint. Shot is up, no good. Potter had a great look down low and just lost it on the way up. Everybody was where they needed to be right there, Steve. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. You can't get mad at a possession like that.
Absolutely. And, you know, on the other side, when on defense, I love Meg's decision not to go for a steal. Sometimes going for a steal and not getting it puts everybody out of position and ruins your chances at stopping the shot.
Levine over to Andrews. Andrews directing traffic. Levine takes on Potter with the drive. Shot is long. Jensen now off the Dixon rebound, looking ahead to Olivier. Page, dribble drive. Right-handed layup, scoop and score. I thought, Steve, she was going left hand all the way. That's the magic of Paige Olivier, switching with the right hand for the lay-in. That one missing everything off the shot from DeMeo. We mentioned she's one of their best shooters, 38% coming into action. Big miss right there. Now, you just mentioned about a player like Levine coming in and getting a layup first play. First shot for a shooter, seeing an air ball. You don't mind that if you're on the bench for the Beacons right now.
Absolutely. As a former shooter myself, you want to see the first one go in. Gives you a lot of confidence.
Meg Dixon, she is a shooter there. She was at the spot she wanted to be. There was some contact, no need for a whistle. And you didn't necessarily have a play drawn up there. There was 20 seconds on the game clock. The shot clock was shut off. Now, Meg Dixon is a player, 5-year player, the go-to scorer on this team. I'd like to think there might have been a better shot out there than that one.
Yeah.
And I think you're the one who's allowed to say yes, there was.
yes, there was. You know, if you're the best scorer on the team, you tend to think every shot is the best shot, and you have time left on the clock to do it. You might want to take that one down another 4.5 seconds and see what you get at the buzzer.
Well, let's see. Jessica Carroll, she's a shooter in her own right. She's back on for the Corsairs deep in the right corner. The Beacons holding a 1-point lead. 4.5 seconds on the clock, so this is going to be the last play of the first quarter. Moretti, fronted by BJP. A lot of pressure. Is she going to get the shot off? She does, and misses just long. And a back-and-forth affair. You can tell, Steve, that this is a crucial conference matchup and a 1-point difference through one. Real quick, talk about what you've seen on the whole right now for the Beacons as they try to get the second conference win of the season.
You know, when you see somebody that, if you're playing a team that likes to go fast, they tend to push the pace and you go fast with them. And right now, Beacon's playing just a little bit too quick to be comfortable with. They're shooting quickly. They're driving to the basket when they might be able to pull it out and actually run the offense. If you take the ball out and run the offense, it's going to really confuse UMass Dartmouth and slow them down, which they do not enjoy.
4 points apiece for Meg Dixon and Alexa Potter. 5 points for Paige Olivier. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, quarter number 2 in this crucial LEC conference affair. Beacon 17, Corsairs 16. More after this.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience. at a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
And as we rejoin the action here, take another look at this beautiful three-pointer from Paige Olivier. Just beautiful shot. Perfect timing for us as we are back underway here at the Clark Athletic Center. Chris Del Sordo, Steve McGuire on the call. The Beacons leading by 1 in a back-and-forth affair. This is a team, UMass Boston, lost their first 4 conference games of the season, won their most recent one. Dixon, that would be a huge three, misses long. Potter corrals it. Potter back to the basket. Shot is up, no good. Moretti to the deck, and that's going to be a foul against Alexa Potter. A little too hard on the pressure on the back end, and I do believe that is personal number 2. No, so bullet dodge there for the Beacons. It's just personal foul number 1 for Alexa Potter. Farina going to check back in for the Beaks right now. And once again, another opportunity down low for the Beaks. And, numbers aren't there, but position is there. You have a player like Alexa Potter that close to the basket with the ball. You want to see it go in with a little bit more regularity.
Absolutely. I mean, she's going to be getting a lot of rebounds tonight. Just slow it down and put it back up nice and gently. You don't have to be in a rush. You already got the rebound. You did the hard stuff.
Beacons holding a 1-point lead despite shooting 7 of 24 in the early going. Big take there from Moretti. She misses long. Rebound hauled in and put back and up for Caroline Wilson, who in her own right is having a nice game. She has 7 to go along with Taja Andrews' 6. BJP, that's for 3. It goes just long. Potter tries to tip it up, and it's last touch by Alexa Potter wanting to dance around Caroline Wilson. And so the first 51 seconds of this second quarter belongs decisively to UMass Dartmouth here.
If you're going to have Alexa Potter helping out in the post and stopping the drive from Jordan Moretti, you have to have somebody help her out. If she leaves position, you have to box out the person she left so that you can get the rebound.
Moretti now to Zaleski. 2-man weave at the top of the key. And that was a play against Tatiana Fevry. A little too overzealous supporting the backside of that play, and that's the second time now the Beacons have been whistled for a help foul out along the perimeter. Almost not with where they're standing on the court, Steve, but in terms of like the talent of the personnel, it looks like a true 5-out right now for UMass Dartmouth as that one shot misses long. Fevry got away with one there, but Zaleski, an open baseline jumper, misses that one long. Look at Dixon doing it herself, going behind the back to keep it in, but it's recovered on the play by the Corsairs. Moretti, she's been held in check up to this point. Wilson cut off on the play by Olivier nicely. Jab step by Moretti, and there she goes. But once again, another miss. Dixon corralling her 4th rebound of the afternoon. Risky pass there, and Zaleski does get the steal. Zaleski lowers her shoulder, and that's all Carrie-Ann Farina could do was take Zaleski to the line. But UMass Dartmouth ratcheting up the intensity on the defensive end, not something they're known for, and right now causing fits for this Beacons offense. They couldn't even get it across half court.
Really struggling. UMass Dartmouth playing 5-out has all, faster athletic players out there right now. It's really trying to put Potter at a disadvantage. They want her off the court, getting so many offensive boards.
63% shooter is Zaleski on the season. That one up and nothing but net for Kaylin Zaleski. Zaleski and Moretti, Steve, for 2 years played high school basketball together at Johnston High School, and it was a bit of a passing of the torch situation when Moretti moved on. Zaleski still had 2 years to go. I can only imagine that senior season for Moretti with Zaleski alongside her sophomore year would have been a tough team to go up against.
I'm sure they did some damage in high school together. That's pretty impressive.
Here's Tatiana Fevry. She's one of the prize recruits this year, a true freshman for the Beacons. She was on the ball momentarily. Olivier didn't see anything she liked, opted to go for it herself. That one misses everything. Fevry almost forced the jump ball. Instead, we'll go back the other way now. Deep in the corner there, that's Jessica Carroll. She'll kick it back out to Kaylin Zaleski, who misses that three-pointer wide to the left. Fevry corrals the board. That's her second of the afternoon. And up ahead go the Beacons. Olivier, she hit a 3 from that spot earlier. The Corsairs cut her off. The Beacons 2-2. Well, 2 wouldn't do anything, pardon me. They need 3 just to tie the game at this point now in this game of runs. That's a great chance to do it. Dixon just short in and out. Meg Dixon, 35% from beyond the arc last season. Right now, just 32%. Never upset with Meg taking an open shot. Around the perimeter they go, pardon me, Moretti for 3, and she got it. Can't keep a good shooter down, Steve. We knew that was due. And that's the first field goal of the contest for Jordan Moretti.
It's going to fall eventually. Now that she saw it going, you have to ramp up the defense because she's going to start feeling herself shortly here.
Carrie Ann Farina diving in. Corner three for Olivier. That is huge. 3-ball corner pocket for Paige Olivier. It's her second. And coming into action tonight, Paige, one of the most lethal three-point threats on the team. She was only shooting 20% on the season, so this hot start, that's got to be big for her confidence. But another 2 points for Jessica Carroll, and Coach Jacobs seen enough to at least take a quick timeout. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll stick with you here. Steve, when we started this first quarter, the start of the second quarter, the Beacons were leading by 1, trailing by 5 right now. What happened in those first 3 minutes to get this game to where it is, where we're holding it right now with the Beacons trailing by 5 and a bit flat-footed in the process?
Yeah, UMass Dartmouth just ramped up the defensive intensity quite a bit. And, they're coming down. They're putting up a lot of shots. They're not making a lot of shots, but they're putting up so many that it's causing problems. If their percentage is 30% and they shoot lots and lots of shots, they're going to get some points. So Boston needs to slow it down a little bit. Be patient with the zone, move the ball. Nothing better for a three-point shooter than to see a drive and kick. Getting a three-point shot from a swing from the top of the key is a lot harder of a shot than a drive and kick.
Right.
You want that. If you want to get some rhythm going, somebody going to the basket and kicking it out to you.
And then that question is, when you look at this Beacons team, they have so much talent in the true wing shooting department. When you look at a Sunny Green or a Paige Olivier or a Meg Dixon, so much low post talent when you talk about an Alexa Potter and then a Meg Dixon. Carrie Ann Farina is a phenomenal game-managing, flow-controlling point guard. Can you ask her to just dive into a defense and generate those opportunities? That might not be what the Beacons team is drawn up to do. And unfortunately, it looks like that might be maybe a weak spot in this 2022-2023 Beacons team's personnel.
Absolutely, that makes sense. We'll see if they can trying to get some better three-point opportunities if someone just takes over.
2 true freshmen on the floor right now in the form of Fevry and Jakimi Pearson. And here's Beeben Jakimi Pearson on the right wing. The true freshman, down low to Sunny Green. Green on the low post, spinning and winning. Wow, tough take right there. She wasted no time to take advantage of that opportunity. And for Sunny Green, it's her first points. She's 1 of 2 on the night, and that's a big 2 points to get the Beacons back to within 3.
Nice to see some established post game and get after it.
Moretti never shy to put a shot up. Now 1 of 5 from the floor. She misses long there. Tasia Andrews supplying the fair share of UMass Dartmouth's offense right now with 9 points. Caroline Wilson behind her with 5. Just 3 for Moretti. Hasn't been a problem so far for the Corsairs. Fevry on the left wing. Stop and pop, and she's blocked on the play by Tasia Andrews. Defense and offense out of number 12 up to this point, but an offensive foul committed by Julia Quinn, and you can thank the true freshman Tatiana Fevry for making that happen.
Great response to getting your shot blocked. People, as a true freshman, you get your shot blocked, you try to overachieve on the other side. She kept it simple and Joey charge. You love to see that right after a mistake on the offensive end.
Well, this game very much slowing down now as the score still 25-22. Green, similar location from her last made shot. This time misses the opportunity down low, and that's the second personal committed by Carrie Ann Farina, and she did it right in front of the referee. So Jensen coming in to spell her, Dixon coming in to spell Fevry. A bit of a more offense-centric lineup right now. But resetting the floor, it looks like Moretti out there with Jessica Carroll, Tasia Andrews, Caroline Wilson, and then Julia Quinn. That's the 5 for the Corsairs. Sabela Jensen, Sunny Green, Beeben Jakimi Pearson, Meg Dixon. The 5 on the floor for the Beaks along with Tatiana Fevry. And there's another moving screen committed by UMass Dartmouth. This time Jessica Carroll, the guilty party. Once again, you can thank the perimeter defense keyed by Tatiana Fevry, and then the other freshman, Sabela Jensen, on that play.
You can tell Dartmouth wants to play fast, so even when they're in the half-court set, they're trying to play fast, and they're making some mistakes. This is good to see.
Fevry, little crossover, then the head fake, drives it, kick out. This is for the tie from Dixon. It's short, but Fevry gets the rebound herself, puts it back on the deck, kicks it out to Green. The Beacons with 11 to shoot. They reset the offense, looking down low to Dixon on the inlet, and don't count the basket. It's going to be an offensive foul against Meg Dixon. Was kind of wondering how she got that wide open underneath. Well, she did it illegally. So that's her second personal foul. The Beacons now, it didn't lead to free throws because it was a player control foul on offense, but are in the bonus, and so any foul they commit the rest of the way in this second quarter, 2 free throws for the Corsairs. Head fake there from Andrews. Thought she might have had something there. Instead, she's called for the traveling violation. And just like that, The game giveth, the game taketh away. One turnover, back to another, and the Beacons right back on the ball. We said coming into this action, both teams right around the 19 per game turnover mark. It's proving itself right now to this point.
Yeah, they're giving it back and forth. But I like the way Boston has ramped up the defense in the last couple possessions.
That's a tough take for Tatiana Fevry. Talk about the freshman, Steve. Just putting the ball on the deck and getting to her spot. Well, hold that thought because Tasia Andrews almost did the same thing. Kind of lucky break for the Beacons that shot misses short, but instead around the perimeter they go. 3-ball missed well long from Wilson. The rebound cascading all the way back to Sabela Jensen. Jensen, jab, step, crossover, dribble, and now she'll peel back and reset the offense. The Beacons, a good 2 minutes after that timeout from Coach Jacobs, they're back to within one with a chance to take the lead, and they will do that with a freshman-to-freshman hookup, Fevry to Jensen, and the Beacons back on top, 26-25.
Yeah, Sabela Jensen playing out of her mind right now and just playing smart, doing really good things. First shot blocked and didn't lose any confidence. And
can't give Jordan Moretti that shot, but she misses it short. Continue, sorry.
No, it's just fantastic to see somebody as a freshman have such demeanor and be able to keep it under control after a blocked first shot.
Nice job there for Olivier keeping the feet on the deck, but for the fourth time this second quarter, an offensive foul against the Beacons gives it right back. They've still avoided the free throw bug. Can't keep doing that. You can't keep committing offensive fouls. That's how they're doing it. 4 minutes left to go in this quarter. We're almost at a media timeout. 4 charges in the quarter. Why does that keep happening?
It's, what ends up happening is nobody on the opposite side is cutting, so the person who's driving has no choice but to keep driving because there's no pass available. So you just put your head down and go and hope they're out of your way when you get there.
Talk about putting your head down and going. Jordan Moretti, you can't keep a good woman down. That's her 5th point of the afternoon. She's just 2 of 6 from the floor. She's going to keep putting those shots up. Green, baseline drive, right-handed layup. What an angle from Sunny Green. There was no angle, but the sophomore from the Cape finishes down low.
I took geometry in high school. I was pretty sure that angle didn't exist.
That's an acute angle. That is .01. Jensen with the steal. It's a 3-on-2. Fevry ahead. Fevry, right-handed layup. Got it and one! The freshman supplying the noise here. Potter's going to head back to the bench because we're shooting an and one for Tatiana Fevry.
Folks, fundamentals. I don't know if you saw that, but a textbook jump stop to establish herself and go up strong. My dad would have been so proud of me if I ever pulled one of those off in my career.
Dads across America right now are going to clip that as textbook basketball. From the steal to the drive to the lay-in, and that's 2 freshmen doing it. Timeout on the floor taken by UMass Dartmouth. They take a 30-second timeout. We will take our media timeout. 3 minutes, 21 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Beacons 30, Corsairs 27.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
3 minutes and 21 seconds left here in the second quarter, and this run that the Beacons are enjoying right now, Steve, that's just the proof of how good a well-timed timeout can go for your team. It's been 3 minutes of all Beacons basketball. Fevry cannot convert the and one play. Almost gets her own rebound right there, but Fevry and Jensen, 2 true freshmen, leading this mini run that has put the Beacons back up by 3.
Freshmen come in there with just pure energy. They don't always know what they're doing in terms of the offense.
That's a big collision on the far side of the court. Sunny Green with Kaylin Zaleski. Zaleski looked to take the worst of that. It's nice to see her pop right back up as both of those players were going for an errant pass. Oh my goodness, that was quite the hit taken by Zaleski, but she's good, she's tough, and we'll hop right back into it with a basketball on the side out.
Dangerous stuff, bang, bang play. You want to make sure everybody's okay.
Sunny Green, 5'8", Kaylin Zaleski, 5'5", right into each other on that play. And Green, her 3rd steal of the afternoon, just reached out and plucked that one away, and here come the Beacons going back right to left. Sonny Green not afraid to reach in there and just take a stab at it in the passing lanes.
Absolutely, and using it as a moment to slow down and establish the offense and set it up. I like this.
Shot fake from Olivier, over to Green, deep three, it misses long. What a board from BJP, she's under the basket, finds a cutting Sonny Green, and the layup just not there on the roll. But Beevan Jakimi Pearson, a great solo effort there to keep that possession alive.
Great read to see that it was going to be an air ball and be able to time it, get the rebound.
Carroll, a beautiful shot fake on the shot. It leads to a Jensen foul. The foul is going to be on the floor, but with the Beacons in the bonus, it will be 2 shots coming up for Jessica Carroll. Carroll coming into the action, 93% from the line. So you'll take 1 of 2 if you're the Beacons right here. And that is a beautiful looking shot for the grad student out of Deep River, Connecticut.
That's some Steve Nash free throw numbers right there.
Now 24 of 25 on the season. 1 more for Carroll. What else would you expect on that? So she brings it back to within 1 for the Corsairs. Beacons 30, Corsairs 29. The fun freshman lineup right now generating some opportunities. 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and a senior on the floor right now. And an off-ball foul committed, unfortunately, by Sabela Jensen. That's her second, and right now 5 different Beacons with 2 personal fouls. Farina, Potter, Dixon, Jensen, and Sonny Green. So no one technically in foul trouble yet, but you have a lot of players that need to keep their hands out of the cookie jar. BJP puts it in the cookie jar, gets the steal, peels it back, looks over towards Green. Green thought about the left wing 3, thought better of it as we're at the 2-minute mark now in this first half.
Smart decision, not really having a great layup chance. And the other team likes to run fast breaks. A missed layup like that can cause some issues.
What a look through the trees down low, but Jensen just couldn't get that shot to fall. Great feed in there for Green. Zaleski dribbling around BJP, and BJP just a little too far inside of her to keep that defensive run going. And that's 2 more free throws, and this is what we talked about. You're conceding 2 free throws. Every foul the rest of the way here. You got to play it safe, and playing it safe doesn't help when you're in this much of a nip and tuck back and forth affair.
Yeah, BJP is really active with her hands. You can tell every time there's a crossover, she's reaching in there to try to make something happen. But there's a lot of risk reward with that, especially with bonus happening right now.
Zaleski now 3 of 3 from the charity stripe on the evening. 1 more coming for the junior, and she hits. UMass Dartmouth now 8 of 8 from the stripe. You got to think that's been the main factor giving them this 1-point lead.
Well, you got
We'll effort the turnovers for you momentarily. Both of those, I think, would make an argument for both teams' point totals up to this point as well. As it is, the Beacons in a good spot here. Potter and Dixon have spent significant time on the bench this first half, and they're still only down 1. Green on the deck, right-handed dribble drive layup, a lot of contact underneath, and a rather late whistle, but a whistle that the Beacons will take nonetheless on that shot, and they'll go to the line with a chance to retake the lead.
That's a fantastic way to break down a zone defense. Hit the person that's riding the free throw line. Everybody has to collapse and look. A lot of people are going to be open, or you're going to have a lane behind you if they don't want to leave Potter in the post.
Fun start for Sonny Green, 4 points to go along with 3 steals. She's a 50% free throw shooter on the season. Only need her to make here. You'd like to see both go down. First one up and flutters home for Sonny Green. Green in her junior season now. She's been more or less a 2-year starter. Saw some starts in the back end of her freshman year. Started almost every game for the Beacons last year as a sophomore. And just a phenomenal 2-way player. She connects on both. Look at BJP, almost knocked that one free. Olivier dives in. She has the ball. It is going to be a jump ball. It will stay with the Corsairs. But that is once again, we focused on Jensen a little bit. We focused a decent amount on Fevry. This is the 3rd freshman now, Beevan Jakimi Pearson. Kind of the main catalyst on defense on the perimeter for the Beats.
Just bring energy and stuff will happen.
Moretti trying to get around Olivier, and she might be forcing a little bit right now as Jordan Moretti. She misses again. 2 of 8 from the floor for the all-everything grad student out of Johnston, Rhode Island. The Beacons holding that 1-point lead. BJP thought about the right wing 3, and she traveled. And you can never second-guess that shot because the referees know when you do as well, and then they're going to start looking at that pivot foot, and it's an easy call in that scenario.
Absolutely. If you're a shooter, just let it go.
As a D3 basketball player, Steve, I've noticed this in my broadcasting career. The travel is never called at a higher clip than it is in a D3 basketball game,
Especially in New England, they're going to call it all the time.
Every time. Which means that the game has evolved up here the way it has. That used to be a way to get out in front, and you get out in front by hitting threes, and Paige Olivier, for the third time this half, drills one, and they've all come from that spot on the left wing.
She loves it there, and it's just absolutely perfect from
Look
that
at
spot.
Zaleski, nifty dribble. She's into double figures, and right when one team starts to make a run, the other team right back on top of them. This is going to be a tight game for all 40 minutes.
It's a boxing match that's going to go to the cards. No one's going to knock each other out, but it's going to be punch after punch.
Jensen spinning back. No shot clock now for the Beaks with 13 on a running clock. So Jensen gets the handoff for Green. She's fronted high for Moretti. Moretti's hitting her all the way at the coach's hash here. Jensen, left-handed dribble. Around the defense, left-handed layup is good. She's a freshman, and she connects at the buzzer to give the Beacons a 4-point lead. We're going to take a quick break here and come back with some numbers. But at halftime, your UMass Boston Beacons 37, the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs 33. More after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network, brought to you by LittleEast.tv.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport. It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Beacons leading Dartmouth 53. Christelle Sordo, Steve McGuire on the call. Steve, before we get into these statistics, you'll see they're very similar to each other. Both of these teams playing the same type of game right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only real big difference is free throws. And, we knew that with fouls in the second quarter, free throws might get out of hand a little bit, but Beacons managed to get a 4-point lead going into the half.
So as you see, Beacons trailing in the overall field goal department, 36 to 37%, both of those teams right on top of each other there. Neither team putting up a lot of shots from beyond the arc, nor hitting. Beacons 2 of 9, UMass Dartmouth similar right there. That hasn't really been the emphasis. It looks like with both of the teams, the onus has been get the ball inside first and let it happen from there. And that's not necessarily what we expected from UMass Dartmouth, but given the defensive emphasis on perimeter play from UMass Boston right now, it's kind of all they have right now is for UMass Dartmouth, because they're not getting shots up from the perimeter efficiently, which is what we're used to out of them.
Yeah, Jordan Moretti's been held to, I believe, 2 for 8 in the first half.
Yes.
She's really struggling to get her shot off.
2 for 9.
2 for 9. So,
yes.
I mean, yeah, that's the person we were most worried about going into this, and she's not really having a showing right now.
Rebounds, the Beacons winning that advantage by 5. Everything else pretty much right on top of each other. But remember this, folks, UMass Dartmouth, 8 of 8 from the charity stripe up to this point. They're only trailing by 4. That might be what keeps them in the later minutes of this contest. We're in the middle of a close contest right now. We had a really close contest on the ice last Friday night at the Edward T. Berry Ice Rink. Your Beacons women's ice hockey team going up against the Spartans of Castleton University. We have the highlights. Check it out.
UMass Boston women's ice hockey at home for the first time since December 10th, taking on Castleton University in a crucial New England Hockey Conference matchup. And early on, the Beacons would struggle. Castleton getting the first goal of the game. Brooke Greenwood, her 6th of the season on the pass from Darby Polisi. After a Beacon defender falls down, makes it 1-0 early on. And then the Beacons would fall down 2-0 as Alex Johnson, that's her 3rd of the season. Emily Harris's pass redirected off the foot of Caitlin Bartolini. And now, just like that, it's 2-0 Spartans. But the Beacons would have a lot of scoring chances in this one. Margot Butters early on with a nice slap shot there against Kirsten DeChico in net. Liz Cramp with a scoring opportunity in front. Beacons just unable to get anything going. Then a one-on-one situation. Leah Bosch with a nice save right there. It keeps the Beacon deficit at 2-0. Cramp again trying to get a scoring chance for the Beacons. Unable to get it by DeChico, but the Beacons would break through eventually. Sydney Leonard, her 2nd of the season, unassisted off the turnover, makes it 2-1. DeChico had lost her stick just prior to that play and could not get it back, and the Beacons capitalized off it. But Samantha Lawler would end up giving the Castleton Spartans a lead of 2 yet again. Her 4th of the season on the pass from Brooke Greenwood. But Emily Hansen responds with her 4th goal of the season, the team-leading 4th goal of the season, off the assist from Kaylee Kosick, who won the face-off. Just like that, the Beacons trailing by just 1. And they continue to pepper DeChico with shots. Sydney Leonard wrapping it around the goal. DeChico turns it away. Kaylee Kosick with the 2-on-2 situation fires. DeChico up to the challenge. Allie Riefler off of the steal. DeChico right there. It's still 3-2 Spartans. We head to the 3rd. Liz Cramp is going to have a chance in front. And it's just stopped again by DeChico. The Beacons taking all the shots they can to the tune of 41 on the afternoon against DeChico. And we're only able to get 2 goals by her. As you see, shot after shot just getting turned away by DeChico down the stretch. The Beacons would end up going into a situation where they'd be up 6-on-5 because they would go to the empty net late and still just peppering the Castleton goalie with shots, but just not able to get stuff to get through her. Emily Hansen, another shot there. Allie Riefler down the stretch in that 6-on-5 advantage. It just goes wide. Hansen, one last chance for the Beacons, no good. And then you see the puck rolling towards the Beacon empty net. Will go off the post. Time expires. The Beacons drop their 4th consecutive game, 3-2 to the Spartans at home. They are back in action tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. against Plymouth State University in a crucial NEHC matchup. The Beacons now 3-4 in conference play this season.
So yeah, a valiant effort, just short for the women's ice hockey team. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a spoiler. The weekend ended well. The Beacons came back on Saturday and won 3-2. A quick look around the Little East Conference. This is for women's basketball, and yesterday, 2 big conference matchups. Eastern Connecticut State, the Warriors, with a 16-point win over Keene State, and then Southern Maine playing a non-conference tilt against Bowdoin College, and they got doubled up by the Polar Bears, 76-39. 2 big conference matchups today. Aside from this one, WestCon heading down to Rhode Island to take on the anchorman of Rhode Island College. That game starting at 4. Come back and we'll have the finals of these two games in the men's game, and also the Spartans of Castleton playing the winless Plymouth State University Panthers. That game tipped at 5:30. All right, we'll throw it back to the break here. We'll take about another 5 minutes. When we come back, the second half of an exciting Little East Conference matchup, the Beacons trying to get to 9-7. The Corsairs trying to get to 9-6 and 5 straight conference win. Beacons holding the 4-point lead. More after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network, brought to you by LittleEast.tv.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
You know, those halftimes, they never last long enough for us up here in the broadcast booth. Steve McGuire, Chris Del Sordo here on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. We're locked in a tight one here in a crucial, especially for the Beacons, LEC Conference affair. Lady Beacons lost. They lost their first 4. They won their most recent conference game. It's all about digging yourself out of the hole at this point. And 20 minutes down, 20 more to go. Solid first half, Steve. What do you want to see differently, though, in the second half to cement this win home for the Beaks?
I would like to see the starting 5 not have to rely on the energy of freshmen to come in and change the tide. You know, that first 5 are the ones who need to set the pace, set the tone, and have the freshmen come in.
And funny enough, you mentioned it. Now, Tatiana Fevry, she is going to start the first quarter on the floor here.
She earned it.
No Alexa Potter right now. It looks like she might still be in the locker room. We'll keep you updated on that. We don't see her on the bench. They go across court. Meg Dixon, slow start to this contest. She puts it on the deck, looks across the floor to Paige Liviere. 2 threes in the first half for Paige Liviere, both of them coming in huge moments. Dixon deep in the corner, back out to Farina. Nothing there. Right wing look for Olivier. She kind of dribbles into some trouble. Goes down low to Green. Green had the spacing she needed, but she gets plucked on the play by Zaleski.
Better ball movement than we saw in the first half, though. Willingness to pass across court and do it safely.
Up and down take there, and just missed from Jessica Carroll. She had a hot start to this contest. 4 points in the first half. She misses there. Dixon can't keep a good shooter down. That one goes short. Green fighting for the rebound. Misses the putback long, but Fevry is right there to a cutting Farina. Pull up. No, it misses off the back iron. 3 good looks right there, Steve, and the Beacons could not capitalize.
Sometimes they don't fall. You got to keep the energy high and do it again next time.
On the deck for Andrews, she had a very hot first 6 minutes of action, kind of cooled off towards the tail end of that first half. The 3 ball from Zaleski goes long. Expected her to put up some big shooting numbers from beyond the arc in this contest. She's 0 of 2 from 3-point range. Farina. You got to wonder, you see Potter back out on the bench right now for the Beaks. Is Farina generating the look and the foul against Zaleski right there? A bit of some wry laughter from Zaleski towards the referee, and I do believe she saw that. For Zaleski, her second personal foul of the afternoon. It is on the shot, and so it sends a very competent, capable free throw shooter in the form of Carrie-Ann Farina to the charity stripe, 66% on the season. First one's up and good, and that's basically taking free points on a play like that where they didn't know how much of the lane was open for Carrie-Ann Farina, and she decided to drive in and take it anyway.
Yeah, sometimes you just force the issue and know that they're going to collapse hard. You know, just set precedent in the second half.
Big board for Green, and she puts it in for 2. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Steve, but that was a very deliberate pace. Sunny went up, skied up, and then slowly put it on the deck, and then quickly went up and laid it back in. Some craftiness I think a low post player like yourself would appreciate.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to change the tempo and you confuse the defenders. We like it.
Carroll a long 3, and now we know that this UMass Dartmouth team is not afraid to put up shots from the outside. They find themselves trailing by 7. Might that be their recipe to get back in? Fevry had a great first half. Looks across court to Olivier. Paige on the deck. Wow, a lot of contact. No whistle. You can see the look on Olivier's face. It's going to be a clean steal for Zaleski. It's going to lead to a Carroll layup on the other end. We could say a lot about that. Let's hand it to Zaleski on that steal.
Yeah, that was a weird interaction, but they swallowed their whistles and let it play on.
Dixon, shoulder fake. Loses it on the way up. Less than stellar start to this contest continues for the grad student out of Hanover. Carroll. Ball's been in her hands quite a bit here in this third quarter. They wing it around, and back on the ball is Jordan Moretti. Just 2 of 9 in the first half. And that's a traveling violation. It was good. Didn't look like the referee was garnering any sort of whistle until the travel committed from Moretti. And right now, similar story for both of these teams, with the Beacons in number 1, Meg Dixon, with the Corsairs in number 2, Jordan Moretti. 2 superstars that just do not have their A game out on the hardwood tonight.
Yeah, Moretti trying to force the issue and draw a foul, and the ref saw it coming from a mile away.
Let's see if Meg can shoot her way out of it. Corner 3, that one goes long. Fevry fighting in for the rebound, but it's hauled in by Tasia Andrews. Looking ahead for Moretti, bounce passes it over to the aforementioned Andrews. A lot of momentum there. She almost dribbled out of her own shoes, but she corrals it back. 3 minutes into this first half, or into this third quarter, Moretti misses long. She's now 2 of 10 on the night. Great feed, though, in low to Zaleski. The angle is not there, but she gets the soft touch high off the glass. Great pass from Caroline Wilson. Even better finish from Kaylin Zaleski.
Really, really tough finish. That was really impressive. Going away from the basket, almost a little jump hook.
Coach Jacobs going to take the timeout here. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it with you. Beacons, they led by 4 at the halftime break. They're leading by 3 right now. This is nice to see Alexa Potter making her way to the scorer's table, so she is going to be back in. And if you're the Beacons, you have to look at the score right now and think, what a luxury this has been. We haven't had a good shooting night out of Meg Dixon. We haven't had the services of Alexa Potter because of the foul trouble. All of a sudden, you get an opportunity to completely reshape your offensive approach now with number 33 back out and hopefully getting open down in the paint. Would you expect that to be the point of emphasis coming back on offense for the Beats?
I think so. I think UMass Dartmouth has been taking advantage of the fact that there wasn't a big person inside to get some rebounds. And with that established post, it might free up Megan for a more wide open shot, which will be really good for her to find one that goes in. It might change the whole course of her game.
As we look at the overall score right now, the Beacons scoring about 60 points per contest, holding their opponents to around 55 points per game. We're somewhere in between the game UMass Boston likes to play and the game UMass Dartmouth likes to play. And I guess that's kind of self-explanatory because both teams' bread and butter has not been there.
Yeah.
Now, in games that you've been in where all of a sudden what seems to be everything that you drew up for the week and you planned, when that goes to the wayside, how do you approach a game when it just seems to be right now in the middle of somewhat of an abyss, somewhat of a void for any discernible basketball that we're used to seeing out of these two teams? What do you focus on when you're in a game like this?
You have to find the factor that's going to change the course of the game. So far this game, it's been the freshman play. They came in and brought the energy. The main scorers aren't doing their job, so you bring in the freshmen who at this point in the season have had some reps, they have some experience. They come in and bring a lot of energy that UMass Dartmouth didn't expect, and it really changed the pace.
If you're just joining us, 11 minutes already for Tatiana Fevry, 12 for Beeben Jakimi Pearson. Tasia Andrews is leading all scorers in this contest. Give her 2 more as she is now up to 12 points for UMass Dartmouth. But 12 minutes apiece. There we go. Emphasis to get it down low to Potter, and you love seeing it be Meg Dixon being the one get the assist. She still control over the defensive presence, and that leads to a wide open Alexa Potter.
Love the high-low play in the zone. It's fantastic stuff, especially when Potter's down there.
That's a long 2 for Zaleski. It's as long of a 2 as you can get without it being a 3. Her toe just on the line. And that's the second long 2 for Kaylin Zaleski. Both Zaleski and Andrews. 11 now for Zaleski, 12 for Tasia Andrews. Filling it up in Jordan Moretti's scoring absence. We mentioned that, and just as we say that, Moretti gets to take a steal in towards the basket and draw a foul. But actually, hold the phone, it looks like she came down pretty hard after the contact towards the hoop. She's reaching towards her left knee on the play. And it looks like Coach Ducharme with some words for the referee. But Moretti is still down here. So I tell you, well, go for it, Steve.
Yeah, it looked like Moretti took the entire land on that left knee, right on the kneecap. It's all based on how she walks.
Nice
now.
to see that. She does get up and is walking without any assistance right now, putting pressure on that knee. But that was a scary play. And, you know, those plays, what can go wrong in terms of those lower extremities, they happen not just a split second, but that could be 1 millisecond away from being something big or not. And so this is an ultra-talented player. She is the reigning LEC player of the week, is Jordan Moretti. And right now, the Corsairs doing what they need to do kind of without her presence, but you're not going to forget your star player going down with 15 minutes left in the contest. And so this is a very crucial point in this contest as it looks like Jordan Moretti is planning on staying in this game. Is that what we're seeing right now?
It looks like she is. She's tough. I mean, you don't want to see somebody in their last season get injured this late in the season.
Right.
My best friend and captain junior year broke his foot coming back from winter break, first practice. Didn't have enough time to get back into shape, didn't get healed, didn't have any more eligibility to spend. So it's really, you just hate seeing people get hurt, but especially in their last year.
And it's to mention something kind of completely different, but going tangentially off that. Eligibility, it's a bit easier to get. They were much stricter with you guys in the red shirts, and then having this COVID year right now, who's to say that if something were to happen in a situation like that, you might get another year? That wasn't happening like 8 or 9 years ago when you were on the hardwood, and that's very unfortunate.
I could have stole a third year if they would have let me, but they didn't let me have it, so I ended up doing 2 here. Wanted that third one.
Well, let's see. It looks to be Melanie DeMeo making her way back onto the floor. I think the rules dictate that because of the stoppage in play, Moretti's going to need to come off. DeMeo is going to shoot these 2 free throws for her, and then it looks like Jordan Moretti is going to be good to go back into this contest, which just kudos to her. DeMeo, quick trigger there, wasting no time, and she puts her first free throw up and in. Coming into action, another phenomenal free throw shooter, 84%.
Ridiculous.
And she hits again, so real quick, if I can say, if you're paying attention at home, that is now 10 of 10 from the line for UMass Dartmouth as they lead by 1.
So the rule is don't foul for the rest of this game that puts them on the line because they're probably going to make it.
Green, open 3 off the Dixon feed. It's trailing off to the right and a huge rebound underneath for Caroline Wilson. Corsairs have their first lead of this second half, and they're trying to add to it now. Andrews, 12 points already, spinning, open jumper, and it's good. 14 points now for Tasia Andrews. She came into this game second leading scorer, averaging 13 points a night. And with a quiet night out of Jordan Moretti, no problem with the night that both Kaylin Zaleski and number 12, Tasia Andrews, are having for the Corsairs.
Other people got to step up and fill the gap when somebody's not playing as well as they can.
Kudos to Jordan Moretti. She's right back on the hardwood for the Corsairs, so she missed about 30 seconds of game time with what looked to potentially have been a scary injury. What I was thinking about, the worst aspect of it all was it looked like her left knee was what she banged up on that play. The brace is on her right knee, so that would have been very unfortunate.
You don't want to even it out.
Beacons double teamed on the perimeter as Green. It frees up Potter down low. Oh, beautiful spinning feed to Dixon. Alexa Potter, the assist of the night right there. That was a no-look and over the shoulder to boot. Big bucket right there as Dixon back in the scorer's column. Zaleski misses the 3 long. It goes out of bounds long, and the Beacons with a score and a stop. And right now, that's kind of how you have to approach a basketball game at this point. 14 and a half left. Yeah, just got to go one possession at a time.
Yeah, that Meg Potter connection right now is working really well. They got to really leverage that for the next couple of possessions.
Jensen in danger of dribbling it over and back, but instead it looks like BJP open on the left wing. They can't get it across to her. Dixon wanted to, and Dixon's fouled on the backside of the play. Both teams so far doing a good job staying out of foul trouble this quarter.
Boston really not taking advantage of the weak side on the zone. They're really overloading one side of the court, and that opposite player is just kind of floating and hanging out. They need to be a little bit more aggressive and make Dartmouth think about them on the other side of the court.
That foul against Caroline Wilson, that's just her second. Up to this point, no player has had their third personal foul of this contest. I think as any basketball purist in here, we like that. Don't want to disqualify anybody, keep them on the hardwood. Media timeout, so we will take a break. 4:35 left in the third quarter. It's a close one. Corsairs 45, your UMass Boston Beacons 44. More after this.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
We're back here at the Clark Athletic Center. Chris Del Sordo, Steve McGuire on the call. Your UMass Boston Beacons, they were leading by 4 at halftime. back into this contest, but trailing by 1 with the basketball right now and getting a little bit of an upswing from the play of grad student Meg Dixon and junior transfer Alexa Potter. They looked at Dixon in a tough spot. What a finish! 4 points in 30 seconds, and both of them very tough. But I said it before, you can't keep a good shooter down, and that's exactly what Meg Dixon is. Beacons back up 1.
You cannot. That was a great move. She even bobbled the pass a little bit, but managed to keep her cool and drive baseline.
It seems like everything on offense is right now being oriented through Alexa Potter in the direction of Meg Dixon. Dixon with the steal, ahead to BJP. Jakimi Pearson with a body on her left. It doesn't matter. She lays it in anyway for 2. And Beeman Jakimi Pearson, a very talented big get recruiting-wise for the Beaks, as that one is short from Levine. Fevry, her 3rd rebound of the afternoon. It's nice to see everybody getting involved in this contest. This team has been known to kind of lean on the efforts of 1 or 2 players to get through a game, and this is a 9-player rotation right now for UMass Boston. All 9 needed and being used tonight.
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
Spin move for Potter! Oh, wow! Fevry with the assist, and Alexa Potter has come alive in this 3rd quarter.
You can feel the momentum starting to shift. UMass Dartmouth doesn't really know what to do with what's going on.
Beacons have scored 8 of the game's last 10 points. Moretti, another miss, and she's close but no cigar for the bulk of this afternoon. 2 of 12 from the floor now for Jordan Moretti, and we keep saying it, but I think it still holds true. You can't expect that to continue. You cannot expect that to continue at all.
There's still a lot of game left, and if she turns it on, you're in a lot of trouble.
How about that? When Alexa Potter is stopping and popping from 18, what are you going to do? The lefty jumper, I had a little bit of David Robinson on it, or maybe some Tim Duncan
Timmy
from
D,
the wing.
yeah. You got to love somebody who uses the backboard this day and age.
And she didn't think twice about it. You know that ball was going
Yeah.
off glass the second she put it up. Caroline Wilson, she's had a hot night and continues to hit. 14 points now for Caroline Wilson. Senior from Forestdale, Mass, out on the Cape.
That was
She's
well
got
contested.
3 made 3-pointers. They try to go down low to Potter. It's stolen by Wilson, ahead to Andrews, and that's a smart take foul there for Jakimi Pearson. Just the 2nd team foul of the quarter for the Beaks, so a very wise play as that goes to a baseline inbound. Well, talk about the way that this game is swung off of, basically it seems like solely focusing the offense around the 2 players now. We didn't get any of Dixon and Potter in the first half, and the past 5 minutes were all Alexa Potter and Meg Dixon.
This is what you like to see. You want your superstars doing the work in the second half after not being that active in the first.
Potter comes off, Olivier, Farina, and Green all back on, so it's Meg Dixon, JP, Sunny Green, Carrie Ann Farina, and Paige Olivier, the 5 on the floor for the Corsairs. Moretti under the basket, inbounding it for UMass Dartmouth. Looking for Zaleski, finally gets it to her. She's cut off in the corner. Trying to drive baseline. What a beautiful shoulder shimmy. We mentioned it. She's going to keep getting to the hoop, and they'll start to fall. Beautiful take for Jordan Moretti for her 3rd field goal of the contest.
Yeah, kept that dribble low, 2 small dribbles to get through everybody, and a nice, easy layup.
Dixon's trapped in the corner. Once again, it keeps the player open on the wing. This time it's Dixon on the rebound pass from Olivier. She stepped out of bounds. Maybe asking a bit too much out of Meg Dixon, orienting the offense to her even that deep in the shooting corner. It almost led to another baseline drive, but it's another turnover for the Beaks. And Steve, cover your ears. 16 in this contest.
Oof, with a whole another quarter to go, that's some
He
big
said
numbers.
it. I wasn't going to say that there was 12 minutes left, folks, but Steve did, so now you know. Beacon's still holding this 2-point lead, though, but Moretti, head down, drives to the lane, and she has a chance to tie this one back up. It looks like Farina, the guilty party, and that, for her, personal foul number 3.
Yeah, that last layup by Moretti has really sparked a fire. You can tell she's got some attitude going now. She throws off the headband. She's ready to go to work.
And that's been the story of this contest. Even starting this 3rd quarter with the Beacons up 4, it was a Corsairs run right away. The Beacons come back, they go up 4 with some big buckets down low from Potter and Dixon, and then you blink, and right now, it's predicting the future here, forecasting it, it's potentially about to be tied again. Every time either team thinks that they have just an angle or some corner of this game bottled up, it just completely breaks open, and we're looking at a completely different player changing the face of this game. So who's it going to be next? Farina with a left-handed dribble, trying to get around Melody DeMeo. And DeMeo, who's only been on the floor for 5 minutes, I believe, picks up her 2nd personal foul.
Yeah, this is a big game of momentum shifts. It's just, do something really good and then feed right back into the other team's specialty. Gotta take advantage of the lead and keep
So Sunny Green now inbounding for the Beaks as we're knotted up at 52. 90 seconds left here in this third quarter. Green thought about the three for a split second. Beacons haven't dribbled once on this possession yet, using the passes to get around the perimeter. Now Olivier putting it on the deck, almost dribbles it into a jump ball, is able to get it out of trouble somehow. Green, 2 to shoot, Dixon to beat the shot clock buzzer, and misses it just short. That looked directly on line from our point of view, but just short. So now Zaleski behind the back with a chance to re-give the Corsairs the lead, misses long, and Dixon flying in for another rebound. Hasn't contributed that much in the scoring column by her standards, but hauling down plenty of boards for the Beacons underneath. Olivier thought about the right wing three. On the deck, over to BJP, and that's going to be an off-ball foul against, I thought it was against Jordan Moretti. Instead, it's going to be against Kaylin Zaleski. That is her third, and that's nice to see. No, they did. They called it against Zaleski. That's only her second. My apologies. So Moretti with 2, Zaleski with 2. And we'll get another look at Jemima Joseph coming in. She had 3 minutes of action in the second quarter. So Paige Olivier at the stripe for the Beaks, about to shoot 2. A 62% free throw shooter. So quiet, you could hear a pin drop in the building for that free throw. You know that we are in crunch time as the season goes. That's a big make for Olivier. She's a D2 transfer, came over from Barry University. Second one up and good. 2 huge free throws for Olivier, who's enjoying a nice shooting night for the Beaks out on the wing. DeMeo. Down low to Tasia Andrews. Andrews, I believe, no, it's going to be a touch foul against Green. I thought that she stepped out of bounds. Instead, Sunny Green going to be called for the ward there. The Beaks had one to give, and so you'll take it. 47 seconds left. Well, that's the task. Keep your hands out of the cookie jar for 47 more seconds.
We can live with that.
26 on the shot clock now as DeMeo retreats all the way back to the logo. And they leave Zaleski wide open for 3, and that's a big miss for the Corsairs. That, you have to think, Steve, that's the shot they wanted off that inbound.
Absolutely. I mean, she's been shooting the lights out tonight, and to leave her that wide open is very dangerous.
Let's see what Coach Jacobs opts to do here. Do you run some more time off this game clock? BJP deep on the right wing goes back to Carrie Ann Farina. Olivier clapping for it. She had it in her shooter's pocket. They couldn't get it to her in time. Now 10 to shoot. Farina still out on an island. Gets a screen from Dixon. Right-handed dribble drive. Stops and misses just long. That was a pretty pull-up for Farina. The Corsairs with a chance to tie or take the lead at the end of the quarter here. Moretti crosses over, thought about the 3, gets the screen from Joseph, drives on Dixon, Meg gets the block, and let's see, does Green put it up at the buzzer? Don't count it. It wasn't off in time, but a huge defensive stop from Meg Dixon preserves the lead through 30 minutes of basketball. 10 minutes to go here in the Clark Athletic Center through 3. The UMass Boston Beacons 54, the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs 52. We'll take a quick break, and we will be back with what looks to be very exciting conclusion after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to.
We're about to start quarter number 4 here, folks. What a game we have for you. Your UMass Boston Beacons leading the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs 54-52. The Beaks at 8-7. Trying for their second conference win. UMass Dartmouth, similar record. They're 8-6, but they're already 4-1 in the LEC, Steve. What could a potential win like this against the team that's right now second in the conference do for you, the team that's currently 7th in the conference?
Just a momentum shift. You can really start riding that high and feel confident going into other conference games.
Zaleski almost out of bounds on that one, but she hits the long 2, just running the baseline. And I tell you what, Kaylin Zaleski, probably a phenomenal three-point shooter. Today she's been a phenomenal toes on the line two-point shooter, and she ties it right back up at 54.
Yeah, if I were her, I'd work on just running to the three-point line all the way behind it the next couple
Good
shots.
recovery from Potter, but then no one there to help her out. As Green saw something, she got it to Alexa Potter. It was just the slightest touch off the fingertips of Jemima Joseph underneath, and that altered the play enough to ultimately cause the turnover down low.
Yeah, turnovers are going to be very costly in this last quarter, so we have to really keep them to a minimum as we go.
UMass Dartmouth committed just 2 turnovers in the third quarter. The Beacons committed another 6. So right now it's 17 to 12, the turnover disparity. Zaleski, been the hot player here in quarter number 3, and now in quarter number 4 it continues. Kaylin Zaleski shoulder down to the bucket, and she hits. And this back and forth affair, once again, it's another lead change. UMass Dartmouth back up 2. Let's see where the Beacons opt to go here as they're trapping Farina. Olivier was open. She opts to put it on the deck and feels the foul from Jemima Joseph on the drive.
Yeah, Boston.
Go for it. Sorry about that.
Boston really likes to run their offense from the corner. They get the person in the corner of the ball and try to drive baseline a lot.
Now, is that because the corner naturally usually draws a trap, or is there maybe something else in the thinking of that?
Yeah, it might just be that with a zone so extended that that's what's open, and they're just getting the ball where it's empty. So,
well, Carrie Ann Farina, that was a tough take there. Usually you can't dribble through a zone. She almost did, and then was able to force the foul. It is a foul on the shot, and once again, so we're here for the Beacons. I think they might have gotten the continuation right there if it was there to be had. And it sends Carrie Ann Farina, a very competent free throw shooter. We mentioned the 66% coming into the day, 2 of 2 so far tonight. Need 2 more right here out of the senior. And she delivers on the first right there. It's always tough in this gymnasium how quiet it gets on these weekday nights for free throws. And you already know that everyone's listening into you. So right now, for everyone, if there's any broadcaster jinx, I'm apologizing. But Farina, there we go. I got out in front of it. I'm sorry. 3 for 4 on the stripe tonight right now, and the Beacons need a big stop right now, trailing by 1. Zaleski, she's been hard to stop. Crosses over and kicks it back out to Andrews. Andrews almost pulled from the left wing, back on the deck. Beautiful spin move. She got underneath Green, and Green pulls the palms back. But you see, normally when a player can get underneath you like that, you're usually going to get called for a whistle if you can't block the shot.
Yep, absolutely. They have all the advantage. If you let them get past you just a little bit, whatever you do with your hands is going to be a foul.
So that would have been the third for Green. Instead, Potter gets saddled with a foul for Alexa, just her second. Once again, the Beacons delicately doing the dance where no one truly into deep in the pool of foul trouble. So 2 for Potter, basically 2 across the board if you look at all the Beacons, but a big make right there for Tasia Andrews. And we mentioned Andrews, Wilson, Zaleski, the big scorers tonight for UMass Dartmouth, with Moretti having a bit of a quiet evening. 5 on the floor right now as Zaleski makes both. It's Moretti and Zaleski up top, Caroline Wilson in the middle, Tasia Andrews and Jessica Carroll on the wings underneath. Green gets trapped in a dangerous spot. She's able to bounce it out to Farina. Swings it over to Dixon. Corner 3 for the tie, and she got it. Wow, that's a grad student just showing a good instinct for the game. That couldn't have been the play, but Dixon saw the double team and ran to the open spot in the zone, Steve. There it was to be had.
Yep, and she knew she had to get it off quick, which sometimes gets you out of your own head if you've been having a poor shooting night.
Carroll got Dixon in the air. What a great job from Paige Olivier holding her own on the low post defense. Big stop for the Beaks. Now they have a chance to retake the lead. It's been a back and forth game. It's been a back and forth first 2 minutes of this fourth quarter. What is next in the offing for Farina? Drives on Zaleski, almost pokes it out of bounds off Carroll. Carroll is able to recover and corral the rebound. Now Moretti probing in around Dixon. That was a beautiful head fake, but too much momentum to the lane for Moretti. She's now 3 of 13 on the night.
Yeah, she's just going in way too strong and overthinking all her layups. It's unfortunate.
Seemed like she might have been surprised that much room was there between her and the hoop, and then hitting those afterburners to get to it. She ended up being past it. That's a brilliant drive from Farina. The ball halfway down the cylinder. It rattles out, and now Moretti with another chance to drive through. Great defense from Green. She almost knocked it off the feet of Tasia Andrews, but handed to Sunny Green right there. After the Beacons, a disappointing play on their end, she's back to keep everything home.
Yeah, you want them to get back on defense and make plays like that because that's what UMass Dartmouth want from you. They want a bad miss to an easy bucket.
Zaleski inbounding it to Carroll, spinning and hitting. That's a tough 2-point J. And it's still a one-possession game, but it always feels a lot better when you can be bringing the ball up the floor down 1 as opposed to down 3. The Beacons cannot afford to go down the floor and not get a good shot up here, and they get a great look and no finish. Potter, another beautiful feed to Dixon. Trying to do a lot there was Meg. She misses long. Moretti over to Carroll. This is a huge 3, and she got it. Straight away for Jessica Carroll. She hits the 30% three-point shooter on the season, hits her 2nd of the game and 16th on the year. And for UMass Dartmouth, Steve, that's their largest lead of the second half. They get it with 6.5 minutes left.
That's a big shot. It's a very big shot. In transition, to be able to find the open three-point spot and knock it down, that is a potential dagger if Boston doesn't come out swinging from this timeout.
The statistics have been neck and neck the entire game. Really no difference between both of these teams. It's starting to change a little bit in the shooting department. UMass Dartmouth, for the bulk of this game, have been around the 36% mark. You look at it right now, up to 42. UMass Boston at 38% from the floor. This not really that big of a differential because it's one more made 3, but they are shooting 30% from beyond the arc, whereas UMass Boston, right now it's 17.5%. The big number right now, as you can see, Steve, 6-point lead for UMass Dartmouth. They are 13 of 13 from the free throw line. They are still yet to miss. The Beacons, unfortunately, I just gave Carrie Ann a broadcaster's jinx. On almost any other night, 8 of 11 from the stripe, more than passable. Nothing great, but it'll get the job done. It'll take you home. Right now, it's that perfection, that elite shooting at the free throw line from UMass Dartmouth that has them in this 6-point lead.
Yeah, it's terrifying if you're going down to the final minutes and you know you're going to have to foul to get stuff to catch up. You know you're fouling a team that doesn't miss from the free throw line.
And you got to think a lot of that hands to the veteran makeup of this team. You have 2 juniors, 2 seniors, and a grad student on the floor right now. And the more practices that you're in, that you can't leave until you make your free throws, hey, that's the more prepared you are for games like this. Wide open down low is Potter. Dixon finds her. That's going to be the easiest basket of the night for Alexa Potter, and it couldn't come at a better time for the Beaks.
Love to have an easy bucket when the game's getting a little out of hand.
Potter now up to 14 points, but another bucket, and this time it's Tasia Andrews, who had a hot start to the third quarter. She hasn't come off the floor yet. Bad turnover there. Zaleski blocked by Jensen, but not before Jensen commits the foul. And Farina comes right back onto the floor as the youth movement lineup. That was fun in the first half. Now you got to stick with your steady 5, and it looks like that's what Coach Jacobs is doing right now as Jensen just commits her 3rd foul.
Yeah, freshmen, high risk, high reward. They can bring in a lot of energy, but they can also make some mistakes. You want people who are a little more reliable, who have a couple more games under their belt.
Kaylin Zaleski now 16 points on the night, make it 17. And what we're probably paying attention to more, still 14 of 14 from the line now are the Corsairs. It's really helping them start to salt this game away. Still 6:04 left to go, but another one up and another one good for Zaleski. And honestly, we didn't expect anything different. Zaleski now leading all scorers in this game. She has 18. Tasia Andrews right behind her with 17. Caroline Wilson with 8. And how about that? Turnover forced. Wow. All of a sudden you blink and just it seems like 2 made baskets, 1 turnover for the Beaks, and this game has a completely different feel. Carroll has had a great second half. Kicks it out to Zaleski, and she has got 20 points this evening. And you see it, Steve. It felt like you were dodging some bullets, avoiding that high-powered, strong scoring offensive performance out of UMass Dartmouth. Well, they waited for 30 minutes. In the final 10, it's coming alive. Big 3 for Olivier. Paige Olivier having a night to remember from beyond the arc. That's her 4th make from deep. But now the Beacons really, as soon as possible, need a turnover here. Moretti, 9 points for her. Zaleski going to try it again. She just hit from the top of the key. Misses long there. Big rebound for Dixon. She's in double figures now with 10 boards. Maybe going to think about that 3 from the right wing. Couldn't get it inside to Potter. Olivier, left wing. That would have been a deep 3. She peels it back. Under 5 minutes left to go in the final quarter. Farina over to Dixon. Dixon lets Andrews come over. 10 on the shot clock. Picks up her dribble at a weird spot. Let's see what Farina can do. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Takes on Zaleski. And she draws the whistle That's really all you can do at that point. It didn't seem like really anything else was there to be had in the possession. And so if nothing else, 2 free throws coming up for Carrie-Anne Farina.
Yeah, this recent run by UMass Dartmouth was really capped off or started by a really increased pressure of that trap right over half court. It just adds a lot of pressure on the point guard, and they're not getting anything fun on offense. So that drive was the first thing we've done that has been aggressive in the past couple of minutes.
This is the 6th free throw of the evening for Carrie-Anne Farina, and misses the second. So she's now 4 of 6 from the line on the night. That puts her at 66%, right at her season average. Beacons would have loved that extra point. They still trail by 7. Andrews vying for her 20th point, and she misses, but she's fouled hard underneath. She'll get a chance to earn those 2 from the charity stripe. Sunny Green, the guilty party there, and that is her 3rd person.
Definitely having a hard time finding their person on defense. They're coming down, they're talking, but nobody's actually just picking somebody up. Sometimes you just need to run at somebody and scare them off the 3-point line.
Andrews first, up and short, and so it took 35.5 minutes for the Corsairs to miss a free throw, and it was on free throw number 17. I don't think Andrews has too much to be upset about. Vying for point number 18 on the night. She misses both. So that is big because the Beacons, 9 points, a lot harder to make up than 7 in 4.5 minutes, and so the lead remains 7. Green quickly down low to Potter. What a feed to Fevry. Alexa Potter is seeing these passing lanes. That's something special out of a big. And Fevry, huge layup for the true freshman. But Moretti gets right around the defense and lays it in for 2 more. She's been held down, relatively quiet, and all of a sudden in the 4th quarter, it seems like everything is slightly unraveling. It's double figures now for Moretti. Doesn't feel like it, but she's got 11, and we have a timeout on the floor.
Yeah, that's tough. Potter's making some fantastic passes in the post. She's, drawing a double team every time, and if you're smart enough to cut behind the defense, you're going to get easy layups like that. If I was a true freshman, I would have been terrified having that wide open of a layup. Probably would have blown it, so kudos.
I think, honestly, knowing the basketball, and we've watched a lot of basketball already, I think it's higher odds that layup would have gotten smoked.
Yeah,
I really feel like knowing myself, it's 100% that I don't belong on an NCAA basketball court.
Yeah.
But if I was there, I'm not making it. So Tatiana Fevry to get that no-look pass, keep it under control and lay it in. Exactly. That's big kudos to her. That was not a foregone conclusion on that layup by any means.
Not at all.
So resetting right now, 4:13 left in the contest. Beacons will have the possession arrow on the next jump ball. They trail by 7. Farina, Green, Olivier, Dixon, and Potter. That's your regular suspects. Your starting 5 on the floor right now, trailing by 7. And not finding any room here against this UMD. It looks like a box and 1 they're implying right now. Farina gets cut off. She's fronted by DeMaio. Everyone else trying to get through a zone, and that's how you beat a zone right there. Dixon cuts in. Farina with the assist. Beaks back to within 5. They need a stop, though. Not picking up Moretti until about the 3-point line, and she wings it over to DeMaio. Melanie DeMaio. Back over to Moretti. Driving through. It's a late whistle. But Moretti doing what she does best, getting to a spot where it's either a bucket or putting it in the ref's hands to blow the whistle. The foul against Farina, and 2 more shots coming up for Jordan Moretti.
Yeah, the Euro step is hard to guard when you're backpedaling. All you can really do is throw your arms at it and hope you don't hit them.
And that seems to be just one of the many things kind of in the bag, in the arsenal for Jordan Moretti. She's been very adept with the head fakes, very good hesitation pass player right now, and really just kind of unloading her repertoire. With that kind of being what the game's going to be, avoid the foul, so get to the hoop in the process.
Yep.
If the Beacons are going to want to slow this game down and limit possessions and just foul and start putting them on the line, well, if you're Moretti, okay,
yeah.
I'll head to the hoop and get 3 instead of 2, and it's working for the Corsairs right now. They're still up 7. Farina, she just can't get around DeMaio. DeMaio doing some yeoman's work on that box and 1, and she will get called for the reach-in foul here. That's just the 4th foul of the quarter for the Corsairs. The Beacons close to getting to make it up at the line. Instead, it's going to be a side-out inbounds with 20 to shoot.
Mayo's playing great defense until she decided to put her hands on it.
That's a tough entry pass in low for Dixon. Moretti was the last to touch it. Moretti, it seems like that fall and that scare underneath the basket kind of knocked any sort of rust off, maybe knocked the cobwebs out. Hey, I'm okay, I'm here, let's play.
Yep.
She's playing with reckless abandon in the fourth quarter, and it's hard to ignore. Dixon, stop and pop. That's a long two, and it drops. The Beacons are back to within 5. You can see Coach Jacobs, very animated, needs the defense to step up. But once again, they're not picking up Moretti until she gets it to the three-point line. That lets Andrews go up and under, and she misses the shot long. Dixon's fouled underneath, and that sends your most talented free throw shooter to the line to shoot, too, with 3:09 left. So, if nothing else, the Beacons choreographed this foul trouble dance pretty well.
Yeah, it was a weird play. It looked almost like a travel, and then out of control after the rebound commits the foul. We like to see free throws.
So here's my question, Steven. Maybe because I've been pointing it out the past 3 possessions. Are they letting Jordan Moretti get too deep before they pick her up on defense, or is that you don't want to let anything get behind you in this situation?
Well, so it seems like she's able to get to the basket kind of at will, and she hasn't been shooting very well or at all. So you kind of banking on the fact that if I stay back, she doesn't get past us as quickly.
Difficult rattle home, but Meg Dixon does rattle it on in, and that makes a lot of sense. At this point, the odds are better to just let her put the shot up as opposed to press her and have a better shooter put a shot up. And you're having phenomenal games out of both Zaleski and Andrews. That one misses short. You rarely see that, but Potter, huge board. Over to Dixon, back down low to Potter, through a double team. She's fouled, and she's a great free throw shooter for a big with 2 chances to get the Beacons back to a 1-possession game. Now, let's keep our eyes on this as she looks to be reaching towards her right eye. Not sure if she wears contacts or not, but you want to be able to see clearly when you're at the charity stripe with 3 minutes left to go here.
Yeah, you got to have clear vision. These are huge free throws.
Potter, a 55% shooter on the season. In her first year at UMass Boston, her 3rd year playing NCAA basketball. First one, up and good. The basketball gods looking over the rim right there at the Clark Athletic Center. That one rolls home. Beacons have made 4 of their last 5 free throws. They need another huge one out of Alexa Potter here. The Connecticut native played her first 2 years of college basketball at nearby Dean University. Second freebie, up and good. 2 huge free throws for the junior Alexa Potter. And fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes left to go. Anything can happen in this contest. Zaleski across the timeline. Over to Moretti. Moretti fronted by Farina. Cut off. Instead, they'll go to Zaleski. To Moretti. Back to the basket. She's cut off by Potter. Green almost steals it. Farina pokes it free. Andrews, and that's going to be a foul. Farina definitely went too hard on that one. Gotta love the intensity. Gotta love the defensive pressure. Just a bit too much out of Carrie Ann Farina.
You have to
and
know.
that's her 5th personal, and so that's big because that's your point guard.
Yep.
Gone with 5. I knew she was flirting with it. I thought that was her 4th, so my apologies, folks. But personal foul number 5 for Carrie Ann Farina, and that's going to mean that you're either going to be looking at Sabela Jensen or Tatiana Fevry, more than likely at that one spot the rest of the way here.
That's tough. And you know, when you're on defense, you have to know when the steal opportunity is no longer an opportunity. You had a split second to get it. Now back in their position, don't be desperate to get the ball out of their hands and have a situation like we have now.
So Sabela Jensen, the true freshman out of Portland, Oregon, joins the floor with Sunny Green. You actually have the spectrum of years here. You have a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and grad student, the 5 on the floor right now for the Beaks. And that's probably going to be the 5 that you close this contest out with. Another look at DeMayo coming off. They'll probably do offense for defense, will at UMass Dartmouth. We've talked about the individual effort from DeMayo on the defensive end. And it was making it life hard for Carrie Ann Farina, so that's probably going to be the same thing for Sabela Jensen.
Yep.
But Steve, how about that? The Corsairs, after making their first 16 free throws, have missed 4 out of their last 5. And so we'll just let this one sit in the atmosphere right here as this could keep it a 2-point game. Tasia Andrews at the stripe. 67% on the season. She misses both, and Dixon gets the rebound. She's trapped in the corner, wings it around to Jensen, and the Beacons with a chance to tie or take the lead. All good things must come to an end, and that was that free throw strike. They made their first 16. They've missed 5 of their last 6. Dixon had a chance to give the Beacons the lead. Green can do it, and it's long. High arcing rebound. Olivier can't grab it. Zaleski can. And Kaylin Zaleski carrying it up the left sideline here, taking her instructions from head coach Matt Ducharme. He's a Corsair himself, graduated from UMass Dartmouth 22 years ago. Winging it around the inside, it's tipped. Jensen can't get the steal. Zaleski almost dribbled it out of bounds. She picks it up deep in the corner. Moretti, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Moretti in NBA 3, and she hits. It's just the 4th made field goal of the contest, but the reigning LEC Player of the Week playing like it right there. That was a 26-foot three-pointer that she just drilled.
Shooters shoot like they're going to make every single one they put up. That was a very, very confident shot.
Potter tried to dribble it around Andrews, I believe. No, pardon me, that was number 14, Caroline Wilson. Wilson and Andrews, similar looks out there on the perimeter. She's whistled on the play. That's her 4th, and so you can look towards Wilson if you're trying to get her off the floor offensive. She can only cede 1 more. Potter back at the line. She's made her only 2 free throws tonight. 1 minute, 43 seconds left to go. This game has had some runs in it, but the lead has never gotten that big for either side. UMass Dartmouth, their largest lead was 8. UMass Boston, same thing. Their largest lead was 7. We just saw that here in the 3rd quarter. And so as this one up and good, as Alexa Potter continues to hit at the line in clutch moments, it's not as if the Beacons weren't executing and weren't capitalizing. It was just the pockets of time when it was mainly misexecution. That's where we're going to look back. There was that bad pocket early in the game. The 3rd quarter, they couldn't really corral the game when it was to be had. They had a 7-point lead for a while in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, just couldn't keep the foot on the gas pedal, which is tough.
Potter does miss her 2nd, so now she's 3 of 4 on the night. DeMeo tries to dribble it around Jensen, keeps the dribble alive, so 14 seconds to shoot for the Corsairs. You can imagine they're going to try and milk off every second. Moretti just hit a deep 3 from right there, and that might be your dagger, ladies and gentlemen. That's been the theme of the game. You can't keep a good shooter down, and all good things must come to an end. Nothing stays forever, and Jordan Moretti's off night. It's officially over. She's the one that has put the Corsairs over the edge in this conference contest.
You just need to see one go in for the confidence to go through the roof.
Olivier driving through contact, misses, gets her own rebound, left-handed putback, no, Potter no, and she's fouled, and so Alexa Potter, one last chance to keep the Beacons in it now as they're down by 7. Got to make these 2 and hope to get another stop here, but this game, this comeback, still possible.
Yep, very much so.
I've given enough broadcasters jinx tonight. I might as well have kind of put this one away too early and then let the Beacons steal it. Rise the Phoenix up from the ashes here. You see Coach Ducharme calling his girls over here. They look to be taking a 30-second timeout. So why don't we take a quick break here? We'll be right back. 56 seconds on the game clock. Beacons trailing 8-70.
All of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division 3.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for
Well, some A1 production work from our broadcast team right there. And we're back. Alexa Potter, 2 huge free throws. Beacons got to stay with this. They need at least 1, I would think, to just get this back to a possession game. You'd love to see both go down.
Yeah, with this much time left, you don't have a lot of time for possessions. You might not have 3 possessions left, so you want to see it get cut down.
Alexa Potter spitting the ball in front of her, the left-handed shooter. Shot is up, and that one misses off into the right. She was having a good night from the stripe there. Now coming back down, regressing to the mean, if you will, a 55% shooter on the season. Enjoying a very nice game is Alexa Potter. Looking at the numbers on the night here, up to 15 points now for the junior. 2nd on the team to Meg Dixon, 16 so far. That one is good. So another make. Potter brings it back to a 2-possession game. They'll go defense for offense with both Fevry coming on, and it looks like Zaleski coming on for the Corsair. We have a timeout on the floor taken by UMass Dartmouth. They take a 30-second timeout, and so, guys, we'll take a 30-second break. More after this, 56 seconds left.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division 3.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked.
55.8 seconds left in this conference affair. The Beacons down by 6, but that's a huge play as they force the steal. Fevry, Dixon grabs the ball. Dixon gets fouled reaching for it, and that is going to be a foul against Kaylin Zaleski. She can't believe it.
2 free throws with barely any time off the clock is great for Boston.
You couldn't ask for anything
Yeah.
better right there. And once again, you can thank the true freshman Tatiana Fevry getting in there, mucking up the works, and that led to the loose ball that let Dixon grab it and put 2 free throws up. We've just thrown at the break a couple of times, so we'll stay with you here. Okay, 52 seconds. Let's keep it more real life and less Hollywood.
Yep.
How do you come back from a 6-point deficit with 52 seconds left?
Well, it looks like the past couple of plays that Dartmouth has really taken the air out of the ball and went slow, and Moretti has gotten 3-pointers out of it. This time you have to push the issue and make them play fast and under pressure. It might leave some gaps for Moretti to get to the basket, but you have no time, so you have to press the issue.
2 free throws for Meg Dixon. She came into action today at 72%. Paige Olivier enjoying a 4 made 3-point contest, so we'll remember that. The Beacons get another look on the offensive end. That one, the soft touch at the line for Dixon, her 16th point of the night. And for Meg now, a very impressive double-double, 16 points to go along with 12 rebounds.
It's a very good stat line.
One more at the line for the grad student out of Hanover, and that one in and out, and that's a huge rebound for Levine. Levine cut off by Green, and that one's almost turned over deep in the corner. Green and Fevry pestering, and right when you think it's going to be a jump ball, no, it's a reach-in foul, and not against Tatiana Fevry. Instead, Sunny Green, the guilty party, helping in from the backside of the play. Usually, that's what's going to get you. It's going to be the extra defender hopping in. It makes it a little bit easier for the referee to look at something.
Yeah.
And how close could you get to the trap and steal right there, Steve? Instead, 2 free throws coming up for Melanie DeMeo.
You have to understand when that trap in the corner, your presence is enough. You don't have to have hands swinging in and out of the ball. 5 seconds is going to take place. Just be patient.
Rattled home by DeMeo, and the solid free throw shooting night continues for UMass Dartmouth. And I mean, just another ho-hum 84% shooter headed to the line right there. She missed the second. Lucky break right there for the Beacons as Dixon almost got caught with the ball. She was able to hit it off Andrews. And so we have 44.5 seconds left to go. You need a basket here. You probably need a 3 here. Is that where we're at with 44 seconds left on the clock?
You need something quick. If you get a 2-pointer really quick, get it. But 3-pointers is where we're going to lead right now.
Jensen gets double teamed. She's able to spin around it, looking for Olivier. And what a play from Levine. Moretti couldn't quite keep it in, but that's a great play for Levine. We mentioned the team's 6-man normally plays about 20 minutes a contest. Not seeing a lot of burn tonight. Comes back onto the hardwood from the bench and provides a huge play in the closing minutes. Olivier with 35 on the game clock, 20 on the shot clock. Oh no, throws it out to Jensen. Jensen can't corral it. It's a foul on Sabela Jensen, and it looks like that might be the final blow to this conference affair for the Beaks.
Tough way to have that possession end. You know, that pass to the corner almost happened, and then having to bobble the inbound pass is just a tough take.
Well, not over yet here. It's a 6-point spread. DeMeo missed her most recent free throw, and she misses that one. So Melanie DeMeo now just 1 of 3 from the charity stripe here. A miss and a rebound, and this game, mathematically, it's still to be had for the Beaks.
Very much so.
DeMeo hits. And so the Corsairs back up 3 possessions. Timeout taken by Coach Jacobs. Going to draw up one last play here to try and get the Beaks in striking distance. But 32.9 on the clock. We'll take our final break of this contest. Beacons trailing the Corsairs 75-82.
The determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything.
We're back live here. The final 32.9 seconds as the Beacons trying to close this gap, trailing by 7. Olivier, she's hit 4 threes already today, trying to keep a big night going. That one misses long, and that's touched last by Potter. Dixon couldn't come over the top and corral it. And the Beacons will go with the full court press here, it looks like, just to try and extend this game one more possession. We'll get our second look at Julia Quinn for UMass Dartmouth as they call the timeout. I think this might be just calling the timeout to get the substitutions in. And so this will probably be even quicker than a 30-second timeout. But score, Corsairs 82, Beacons 75. Looking at the numbers, it was a huge night for both Tasia Andrews and Kaylin Zaleski, the team's second and third leading scorers respectively. 21 points for Zaleski, still leading all scorers in this contest, and Tasia Andrews 17 points, Steve, on 7 of 10 shooting. Yeah. Jordan Moretti just 6 of 17 from the floor, but a rather quiet 19 points, and you got to say it was probably her 19 points, the bulk of them getting scored in the second half, that put the Corsairs over the finish line. Because if she didn't pick it back up, and if they couldn't get that offense from the third source, it felt like the Beacons had everything else covered. And then all of a sudden, the Jordan Moretti that we all expected to show up did show up and prove to, more than likely, be the difference in this conference matchup.
Yeah, you could see the frustration in the third quarter, and that was the turning point. She got angry, she came out, she, slammed her head on the bench, and from that point on, she took over.
Hey, sometimes playing angry means playing good, and that's probably the case for Moretti. Quinn on the floor right now. She's faced with inbound duty, and that is going to be a 5-second inbound violation. And so, one last chance for the Beacons to maybe bring this back to within 4 points, and then you never know what happens. Offense for defense as BJP and Tatiana Fevry come off. And so resetting the floor, you were looking at Sabela Jensen, Paige Olivier, Meg Dixon, Sunny Green, and Alexa Potter, the 5 out for the Beaks. And now you need a 3, and you need it as fast as possible. And that's going to be hard to get, throwing it backwards to Jensen. One-on-one against DeMeo, and the freshman gets around her mark. Jensen looking for the kick out. Nothing there. Out to Paige Olivier. Going to have to put one up soon. Olivier driving, keeping her footing. Out to Jensen. Wide open 3 from the left wing. It's short. Rebound hauled in by who else but Moretti. That's a jump ball on the floor underneath, and it'll keep it with the Beacons, but that effectively winds down this game clock to the point where UMass Dartmouth can put that 9th win of the season into the W column. They'll move to 9-6 and 5-1 in the LEC, and the Beacons will fall to 500, 8-8. Olivier, one more 3, and that was vying for number 5. Moretti gets one more rebound to salt it away, and we have gone final. Tasia Andrews, Kaylin Zaleski, and last but not least, Jordan Moretti supplying the firepower, giving UMass Dartmouth their 9th win of the season. Our final score, the UMass Boston Beacons 75, the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs 82. Steve, there was a lot that happened in this game. I think it ended up being a higher scoring game than we anticipated, especially when we were in that nitty-gritty beginning of the second quarter. You have a team in the Beacons right now that has fallen to 8-8. And they're at the 1-5 spot in the conference. But obviously some building blocks were there to be had in this contest. Most importantly, because we like to keep it positive, keep it moving forward, what do you build on if you're the ladies team heading into your next matchup upcoming this weekend?
You saw your freshmen come out and change momentum. Now they have a bigger role to play in this game. They can be used in spots where you don't have energy and you need a pick-me-up. But 8-8, not the end of the world. It's time to transition and figure out who you want to be for the rest of the season. There's a lot of time to figure that out, but now you've also seen your opponents a couple times and you know what to expect in conference play, so you can make the adjustments and hopefully come out the second half feel really good.
Beacons will have another game against the Corsairs later on. Looks like right at the end of the season, second to last of the year. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the game's final numbers and a little bit of a preview for the men's contest. So don't go far, because we won't go far either. More after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. The ladies lose by 7, 82-75.
You want to do, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, or it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just a starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go.
What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Well, we'll rejoin you here at the Clark Athletic Center, closing out coverage of the women's basketball game. I'm Chris Del Sordo. He's Steve McGuire. The final score, Corsairs 82, Beacons 75. We'll pull up the final statistics right now, Steve. Basically, it's what we talked about all day was what got the Corsairs the win. First things first, let's look at the bottom of the screen there. 21 turnovers. That's more than 5 a quarter. You're never going to get away with that in the game.
It's not going to happen. That's a lot of points given to the other side.
Congruently, right, 21 turnovers in total for the Beacons. UMass Dartmouth had 11 in the first half, just 2 in the entirety of the second half. They went on the big run to close out the game. Got to think that's what got them over the hump and made that final score 82-75. Also worth noting, the Beacons winning the rebounding battle by 10, out-assisting the Corsairs by 4. It seemed like everything was going. That free throw percentage number, it altered late for the Corsairs, save for the turnovers. That's the other number that swung this game, was the success at the line for UMass Dartmouth.
Absolutely.
They got there 25 times. They hit 19 of their 25 shots, whereas UMass Boston 15 of 23. That's a big difference right there. Now, taking a look at some of the individual numbers, we'll start with UMass Dartmouth. Kaylin Zaleski, the team's third leading scorer. She averaged 12 points per contest. She was on fire tonight, 21 points, and she did it on 7 of 15 shooting.
Would have been more if she had her feet behind the three-point line on a couple of those.
Probably would have been up to 24 because
Yeah.
it was 3 different times she had toes on the line. Great-looking shot out of her. Even better shooting numbers out of Tasia Andrews, who only sat the final 2 minutes of this game when they finally really didn't need her anymore.
Yeah.
She goes 7 of 10 for 18 points. And then Jordan Moretti, it was 6 of 17 from the floor. It was what it was, but it was hot when they needed it late, and she ended the game with 19 points.
Points are points. If it's really efficient or inefficient, they still got points and not a lot of turnovers in that second half, even if they weren't scoring a lot. It's the difference maker.
Alexa Potter, the leading scorer for the Beacons with 18. She also hauled down 10 rebounds, one of 2 Beacons with double-doubles because Meg Dixon right behind her with a 16 and 12 night. I didn't get to touch on this enough as it was happening. Paige Olivier, huge night for her. 1 point off of a career high. She scored 16 points, went 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. So even though it's a result that the Beacons are going to want to forget, that's a night that Paige Olivier is going to remember. She was hot from the start, and she kept her good shooting going on the entire contest in number 32.
Yeah, there was a lot of pieces from individuals tonight that you're going to take to the next couple games and have real confidence in. Paige Olivier especially. Shooting 50% from 3 is going to carry you into the rest of the season feeling really hot behind the arc.
Carrie Ann Farina, probably a game to forget for her. She goes 1 of 8 and does foul out, but she's a senior, played more than 100 games in her Beacons career. We can expect her to bounce back with a vengeance. Last player we want to give credit to, Tatiana Fevry, 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting with 2 assists and 3 steals. Big coming out party performance for the true freshman Tatiana Fevry out of Drake at Mass.
Yeah, by far that was my favorite player of the game. She came out, first shot of the night got blocked pretty badly, and it's usually with a freshman that's going to change the course of your game, and instead she put her chin down and got after it for the rest of the game and changed the momentum of the first half, which is really nice to see.
So 82-75, that's the final. What we're going to do now, folks, is if you're tuning in, we're going to wrap up this broadcast. Don't go anywhere. The second this broadcast ends, you can click back over to the start of the men's broadcast on LittleEast.tv. We'll get started with that broadcast about 11 minutes from right now. But for one last time for the women's game, we would like to thank our production team. Michael Vesci, he's up, he's everywhere here in the press box. Our producer, Georgia Bonney, taking a spin at the director's table and doing a great job for us tonight. Gina Albano next to me, our graphics operator, Grace Kelly running the replays tonight. And then all athletes running the cameras for us this afternoon, Ali Albano, Josh Eastman, Mariano Jimenez, and Jackson Snyder, our camera operators. It was a fun one, but the Beacons fall to 8-8 on the year and 1-5 in LEC conference play. Corsairs 82, Beacons 75. That's the final. We'll call an end to this broadcast right now, but don't go anywhere. The men looking for their 12th win of the season up next on the Beacon Broadcasting Network, brought to you by LittleEast.tv. Roll Beaks.